My name is Shannon Young, and thank you so much again for taking time to listen to my speech. I would like to thank my audience, my brother-in-law Jay, my sister Sheila, and my camera woman Miranda. And thank you to Professor as well for taking your time to listen to my speech. Today we're going to talk about our future. That is exactly what teenagers are, is our future. They are our future business leaders, our future government officials, and even a few presidents of the United States sprinkled around in there. But are today's teenagers really ready for the influences that they'll find? Today, teenagers are bombarded with literally thousands of negative influences on a daily basis. Most of the time, they can't even tell that they're being influenced, and that's what makes those instances even scarier than the rest. There are destructive peer influences, there is an oversexed media, as well as disastrous adult influences that are faced every single second, every single minute of every single day. Now, in an article published on the Psychology Today website, the struggle facing teenagers is made very clear. It says, adolescence can be a time of both disorientation and discovery. The transitional periods can bring up issues of independence and self-identity. Sometimes adolescents may be experiencing with drugs and alcohol or sexuality, and during this time, peer groups and external appearances tend to increase in importance. Now I'm going to repeat that very last sentence. During this time, the time of adolescence, peer groups and external appearances tend to increase in importance. Now, simply put, this means the influences attributed with peers and the need to look like part of the group becomes very, very important. Now, unfortunately, history has proven that these influences are disastrous. I'm going to share some statistics with you today. Some numbers with you. 3,030,000. That is the number of high school students that drop out of high school every single year. 8,300. That's how many high school students drop out of school each and every day. Now, 86%, this is the most scariest one, I believe. 86% is the number of American high school students that say that some classmates are using drugs, drinking, and smoking during the school day. Now, almost half of those students know someone who sells drugs in their schools. Now, these facts come from the National Center of American Attitude on Substance Abuse. And the co-founder and chairman of that group, Joseph Califano, he is the former U.S. Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare, said in his statement, for millions of American teens, drug and alcohol, not mere advancement of education, are what put the high in high school. They're attending. For millions of parents trying to raise drug-free kids in these high school years, the high school years are the most dangerous times the children face. So, what is a parent to do? That's the question that we're all asking ourselves as parents. What can you and I do to protect our children from these negative influences? My solution. We have to become the strongest influence in our children's lives. Now, I know you're probably thinking something like, I do my best, but I have to work, or I can't be around my child 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Or even something like, I can't go to my kid's school with them. Or some other defensive statement like that. But now's not the time to defend yourself as a parent. Now is the time to defend our children from the influences that they see. Now, I offer 3 changes that we as parents can make. The very first change is be there in your child's life. If you are not spending a small part of every single day with your children, it's time to change that. How can we expect our children to communicate with us if we're not around to be communicated with? Now, that also means if you have to drop a shift at work or rearrange your schedule a little bit, you need to do it. You cannot be an influential part of your child's life if you don't know what's going on in it. This also goes for being more open when you are at home. How often have your children come to talk to you and you had to tell them to be quiet because your favorite show is on? Or just to hold on 1 second because you're surfing the internet? Simply being there physically is not enough. You need to open yourself up for communication. Now, the second change that I would offer is that for us to be better examples as parents. If you drink like a fish, you cannot be surprised if your child becomes an alcoholic. If you were a teenage mother, studies show that your child as well, your daughter will become a teenage mother if something does not stop that effect. If you dropped out of high school and you never found it important enough to continue, don't be surprised when your child feels the exact same way about education. Now, on the positive side of this relationship, if your child sees you fight for the victims of drunk drivers, wouldn't he or she grow a fondness for that cause as well? If your son saw how you protected the rights of unborn children, would he not be more careful then on when and where he makes a life? And what about that child that watches his or her parent go back and get that degree? Would she not be concerned with her own level of education? In every single example that I just gave you, the answer is yes. We form the mold our children are by the examples that we give them. Now, and most importantly, if you put a healthy fear of God, this is the third change. If you put a healthy fear of God into your child, as mentioned above, the defensive parent, we can't be with my child every day. I can't be with them 24/7. You can't, but God can. God is with your child every second of every day, and if your child believes in his or her heart that God is watching his every move, then even when their parents can't, then we're going to see better children. We're going to see low statistics. The rates that we've seen are going to be a lot lower, and we're going to see happier families. Because when you make God the foundation in any home, that home will last forever. Thank you so much for your time, and you have a great day.